facility like this, you take a long-term view on it. When you invest in something like this, you think beyond today, you think the next 20, 30, 40, up to maybe 100 years. Even though we may have invested a significant amount of money, the returns not only to Barloworld, but to the country, to the world at large, you can't quantify them.
Give us an idea of what we have here and the scale of the operation.
This is a 30,000 square meter facility, and 20,000 of that is for the rebuilding of components, and the remainder 10,000 is for warehousing purposes.
Okay, and walk me through the process. What are the steps when components arrive here? What happens?
Once the component arrives here, we disassemble the component completely. We do an inspection on the component. We determine what parts need to be replaced with new and which part can be refurbished and reused again. Parts would then go through a process of cleaning, refurbishment, and then reassembly. After reassembly, the component will be tested, painted, and then it's good to go back to the machine like new.
Through remanufacturing, we are able to reduce the cost of doing business because we are able to give the customers components at a fraction of what it would cost to get a new one. When we remanufacture, it also reduces the load on raw materials such as iron ore and steel. And what we can't reuse, we send through to for recycling.
So this is obviously a process that replaces having to get new equipment every time something breaks. That's the essence of remanufacturing. I presume there must be some real benefits to that.
Absolutely, yeah. Benefits could be, depending on the component group, between 20% for a specific component after failure, up to as much as 60% saving on the price of new. So the benefit is quite big.
Is there a role for government to play in supporting these kinds of initiatives?
In a big way. Government as a regulator, they have a role to play. One of the ways in which they could do is to provide tax incentives for facilities such as these, but also to make sure that there's adequate supply of skills so that we can continue to bring people here and train them.
Okay, so you've got definite economic benefits by what we call remanufacturing here, but there are clear environmental benefits as well.
Iron is reused. I mean, there's an iron shortage or steel shortage worldwide, so we reuse steel, and we also clean some of the runoff water on the cleaning plant and reuse some of that water for the cleaning process.
What are some of the things you think that Barloworld has overcome that are lessons that other industries could learn from if you were to advise them to go down the circular economy route?
I think it would probably be to say, let's think beyond profits, because if we don't take care of the environment, none of us would be in existence. If we don't take care of the environment, none of us will be around in years to come. And the generations to come will blame us. And therefore, it's a responsibility that each one of us has to make sure that we do our best to minimize the impact of our economic activities on the environment. So let's think bigger, and also when we become sustainable, we take the cost out of doing business. Those increased profits, we should be reinvesting them to make sure that we become sustainable over many years to come. I am hoping that my children and their grandchildren, when I'm no more around, they would say, we had a group of people who had the foresight to ensure that the economic activities of their companies reduce the negative impact on the environment.